Hello and welcome to another Lord of the Rings Rise to War video. I'm the player who plays as the King Under the Mountain, and today I'm just doing a very quick season update video as it is Christmas Eve. And I've got some bits and bobs to do still, but I thought I would obviously have people catch up on where things were with the season. We're going to go through just a few battle reports because there has been quite a lot of PvP now. We are going to go through what commander levels we're at. We're going to go through the leaderboards. We're going to go briefly through the map. Probably help people understand the current Diplo situation as I think it's seen across the server. And then that's probably about it, I would think, this period of time. But I'm going to start with what day of the season it is. So, like I say, it is Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate it tomorrow. And also, thanks for the support this year. It is appreciated. I'm looking forward to starting January with hopefully a new company and a new top-up link called Aptoid, who advertise that they're going to be able to give people quite a lot of money back on their spend in the game. So, looking forward to putting that out to people, I think, over the next probably week or so over Christmas. We are on day 12, and quite a lot's already happened in this server. If I sound, by the way, a little bit gruff, that's because I can no longer apparently take a drink and had a few drinks last night and feel quite terrible for it today. So, that's kind of where I'm at. We are on day 12. These are the leaderboards. So we have Mavius, top farmer extraordinaire, rogue fellowship person. He is now back in HONK. Well done, Mavius. All the toys are apparently back in the pram. I like it. But Mavius has pretty much farmed more than some small fellowships, so fair play to him. We then have a lot of bear in there, and of course then we have Raven, and then we've got me, who, for me, I'm pretty happy with this at this stage of the season. I probably won't be looking to increase that in the near future. I quite like to have some tiles free at this stage, but if we take some new lands, then I might try and pick up a little bit more. But there's lots of different fellowships in the top 50. Quite a lot of honk actually. But yeah, lots of stuff in there. Lots of bear. This guy used to play with us as well. Shout out to 57, good player. Top of the merit board, this shows you that we have been fighting a little bit, is Raven, who has, in about 3 days, I think, probably even less than that actually, maybe a day and a half, 2 days, picked up 484k merit from fighting the DK Kingdom, so fair play to him. I'm currently in 20th, 233. I do plan on fighting a lot more over the next day or two, I would think, particularly even though it's Christmas, I still think we'll be fighting. So yeah, looking forward to that, and the barrack situation is a little bit better than what it was yesterday, so I'll talk through what happened yesterday. It was yesterday, I think, actually, so that is less than 2 days to get that sort of pin up there. So in the Fellowship Affluence, we have Bear at 3.1, we have Honk and TOBE at 2.8 each. Honk's production's gone up quite significantly because they are, not all of them, but half of them are flanking around DK, but we'll come to that, so they've been able to pick up some larger tiles on their way. We then have the DK Kingdom at 2.6 and 2.2 respectively. And then we have Lothlorien, which is Odin, Wind and Otter, wherever they are, they'll be down here somewhere, who have a pretty respectable amount of production. We then have Angmar, who have gone down slightly in production because they are fighting Bear, and I believe Bear are tearing him up a little bit up there. We have Salt as well, who are doing really well in Gondor. We have Animal, who are also doing pretty well in Gondor. We have Rue. We haven't seen much of Rohan so far, so that'll be interesting. You then have Spod in Angmar, who are friends with the Odin boys, so that's that. And then you've got Azagal, who are in with Bear. So it's a pretty active server so far, to be perfectly honest. Then you've got Little THEO. It's been really interesting. So this is where we're currently in third in contribution as it used to be, but sort of the season points for the sort of faction, which I'm pretty happy with that. Sure, that'll go up the more PvP we have. And from a development level point of view, we are out in front. And I would assume that's probably because of I would think the amount of structures that we have, not necessarily that we've upgraded more of them, I wouldn't think, but kind of work that out. Commander-wise, Raven is out in front at level 44. I am sat pretty in 5th position with level 43s. I will go into that now. So in the Commander's box of my little formation, we have a level 43 Dane, we have a level 42 Gandalf the White, we have a level 42 Saruman, and we have a level 42 Sauron. Now, I have upgraded Sauron's unique a little bit lately, but look at those disgusting rolls. Like, I could have had any command, any focus. I thought I'll upgrade it 3 times, see what happens. Every single roll, commander defense, which is obviously what every boy wants for Christmas. So that's kind of where the formation's at. It's been doing pretty well, to be honest, so I'm quite happy with that. I'll probably go into battle reports now before I talk through the map, I would probably guess. Makes enough sense to do it now, I would say. So we have been fighting the DK Kingdom. I will go into that shortly. But these are some of the first excursions that we had yesterday. We went through a couple of armies here. I've been running, I did have mediums at the time, but I'm pretty much now down to all smalls. This was quite a simple fight for gear and respect levels, I would say. And then, nice Dane though. And then we followed through and hit this guy here, who has got a pretty nice formation. So Z11 Sauron, Z9 Sistaro, and this thing does hit pretty hard because I've hit this again since. We have a Z2 Saruman, nice Saruman to be fair. And we have a Z1 Undying. I mean, that is a nice formation right there, to be fair. But even with the counter buff, we came out, I would say, on top just. Been an interesting fight if we're full. I've been quite lucky because of the way that I've been able to build. So with my buildings being the way they are, I tend to have more command than most people, as in my army, the amount of troops I've got. So helps with these kind of fights. I ran into a full Fellbeast Turkey formation and cut through that. This is one of my bugbears with people when they come to do this, though. So this is kind of like a spoiler alert kind of thing. If you're going to go into the fact that it's Fellbeast, let's ignore the fact that I don't like Gil anyway. But if you're going to run Fellbeast, I don't really know why you wouldn't just reskill or take Gil out of the formation, because he's literally doing nothing for you in a full Fellbeast formation. So just a little note to self there. But Enbus is a good player, to be fair. I've seen him a few times this morning. I think I may have had a fight with him this morning as well. But anyway, that was that one. Full turkey barbecue. And then I got a little victory over DK himself, which I was pretty happy with this. And this is where I started using half trolls. Now, I've always liked the thought of half trolls. I get that I'm king under the mountain, like those dwarves, but half trolls have always been a unit that I've quite liked. And one of the main reasons for this is that they're a medium unit. And they only have 1 supply. So unlike mounted units, which are 2 supply, they only have 1 supply. So you still keep your HP pool pretty high. You also get your defense pretty high if you put them on a tank. But they're a really, really cheap medium unit, which produce pretty quick. And luckily, in Rebuilding Glory, which we're in, we get them for free with Barad-dûr now it's upgraded. So I have to basically wait for them to hire, which is a bit of a pain. So I sort of do them in 2k batches, which is about 2 hours long. But they're really cheap, and they're actually pretty tanky. And I think at some stage I did actually work out that to get the counter buff, I just put them on Saruman for a while. But I'm trying to preserve them a little bit, so I've got them on Sauron at the moment. And to be fair, they don't do the worst damage either. So half troll's a pretty decent unit. And like I say, as cheap as a Guardian, but a medium. So, anyway, this was against DK, and DK's formation is disgusting. Like it's just an incredible formation. So, I was pretty pleased with that. I was also even more pleased today when Law only managed to draw with him, but that's a different story. So, just thought I'd put that out there in case he's listening in. So that was DK. Then we had another fight with Nelu, And again, I had a few trolls, so I kind of threw trolls out there for a while. But obviously, it was day, that we didn't have a great deal of barracks. I think I started this fight with about 55k barracks, 60k barracks, something like that. So it was kind of just throwing together what it is. I've now worked out I now have enough resources to run 4 lines of Guardians pretty much extensively. So that's what I'm going to do for a while. But this was a really nice formation, to be fair. So I felt that was a good win. And I've now 1 refined Saruman, so he actually seems to be doing, even at 1 refined, a little bit better. So that's quite nice. Again, half trolls. I hadn't quite worked it out at this point to switch it over, though. So, again, I think this is the guy that I fought above. Yeah, it is. So, he wasn't full here, but another nice win. And then this was today, earlier on. So, again, decent gill formation. I hate saying the words decent and gill formation in the same fight, but there you go. But really nice formation. I mean, too many elves on Dane for me. I get the principle behind it, but it's not for me. That they're too squishy. Their HP pool's too low. So they were some good wins, but we've had more wins than that, obviously. But they were just the ones that I've picked out to try and show today a little bit. We are currently just up here, so there is a lot of action going on here. I will come back to this area after we've had a quick look at the map, I think. So we'll go map next. And then we'll go buildings. And then we'll probably finish off for Christmas, which would be nice. So let's not start with our pin, because I feel like I'm really selfish like that. And I still do that first, but that's silly. So I still haven't moved. This is from my original spawn location, and that's because I've been trying to work out what's going on with this fight with DK here. But I said I wasn't going to start with us, so I'm not going to. So you have Bear and Azagar, who have come up through this sort of Eriador region, and they've taken this pass, and they are attacking Linden through here. That is, I think, Bear are on top over there as well. You've got to think numbers-wise here. Bear are a really, really strong fellowship, but you've got to think numbers, purely numbers. So they're also fighting here, and they own this pass here, so they are also fighting with Angmar. Not a great deal with Angmar, but they are fighting with Angmar. They've pushed Angmar right back. Loth, Erebor, and Angmar are all joined together in an alliance. I would assume, by the looks of this pin, Linden may also be part of that. So Loth flipped the Angmar capital so they could get to this little point, and now they are fighting Bear, which it's a respectable pin, particularly for 17 hours. So this was originally Angmar land, and Bear have already flipped that by coming through. So that'll be an interesting fight, purely numbers based, I would say. If Bear are taking on pretty much 250 players there, and they are of a respectable level. So what happened was DK and Loth both went through this side of the pass. So DK came through from here. This is the first pass they unlocked. Why they did this, I don't know. So DK came through here, Loth came through here. They both fought each other, and Loth got really pushed back. Made a deal with DK, I believe. Although I don't want to get too far into politics without knowing the truth, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened at that stage. And Angmar were always quite friendly with Loth, because there is a poster out there. It's no denying that Spod and Odin play together from time to time. So that was pretty much always going to be an interesting one. So that was that. So that's that pin. There is also a small rune who I believe are friendly with Erebor at this stage, but there is a small rune. They haven't really got involved in too much yet. So you've then got another pin here between us and Gondor. This is mainly the BZKH Fellowship that are fighting here by the old astronauts, how let's call them, Argonath. And we're still restricted by passes, so, we still can't get through to the centre for another couple of days, probably another week or so, I'd guess. And Rohan are kind of disconnected, but in this sort of zone here, so that's kind of where they're at. Now, this is where the main action for us has happened. I think I've talked through the map as much as what I need to. We kind of fought Gondor in these lands a little bit, and we took over this area. We farmed all through here. We haven't entered Fangorn or anywhere like that, but we've farmed all through here. I've got a lot of tiles actually in there. It's quite nice. Good group of tiles I've got there. And this has kind of been the main pin. So it's a 1 day pin at 25.3 million participants and 9.4 million deaths. Not bad for a 1 day pin on day 12, where your resources are really restricted now, and I'll kind of come into that in a moment when I go to my barracks. But pretty impressive pin. Now, what actually happened? And this is where I don't know. Sometimes maybe you underestimate things a little bit. Maybe you just work on previous and what you've managed to do. But we sniped this pass from them. So it was 8 UTC when it opens up, and we knew they would come straight at us because it's pretty much the style of what DK do. We've played them before. They go at you and they don't stop, which is a really, really, really great characteristic of that team. They just move as one. They don't stop. So they'd already taken the keep here as well, so Hills of Rune. So we had a force over here taking this one, which didn't get sniped. We took that, and then HONK came through and kind of have farmed away and also done took the keep and a few other things. So for HONK, kind of half of HONK is over here coming through, and it was 8 UTC, and we're not renowned for having morning activity, and it's morning for me, 8 UTC. So we decided the snipe was the better option. And to be fair, that's 2 season runnings now, but this one was very much a perfect snipe. So I think we only actually did 20k siege damage to that, roughly. It was literally like the perfect snipe, and we were pretty lucky with that because there wasn't a great deal of us on the other side of the wall, shall we say. And it could have made that situation really different if DK had managed to get through there, because they would have probably pushed through. But the fact that we sniped it, and then they had to make a decision. So me personally, and this is probably a little bit defensive, I'd have sat on it and just defended and regrouped. Whereas I think it's just because they are quite an aggressive and well respected and very much a hard pushing kingdom. They went straight back into the pass again. So you've got to think barracks were already probably not ideal from their side because they've just gone through pass armies and they've just sieged. But they went straight back through the pass armies again and then lost a lot of siege, managing about 250k siege while we half defended the pass. Now, I don't know how many passes people have taken lately, but when the pass is on the wrong side, it's really hard to take a pass at the moment, with the way the guard mechanics and things work and the way the marching mechanics work. So they lost a lot of troops there, and it wasn't just alchemists or it wasn't just tier 1 breakers, it was guardians, it was anything they could throw at it, basically, because they really needed to get through, I think, at that point. When they didn't get through, and this is where we'll kind of zoom in a little bit, it allowed us to hold around this area. So if I just have a look at this, I mean, look, the top sieger on this was like nearly 3k. So it allowed us to just get a little foothold in this area, even with the few people that we had online. And then we've slowly pushed out. And we got, I think last night, we were somewhere up here last night and we uprooted some bases because there was quite a few bases out here. But then overnight, I woke up this morning and they'd pretty much started building 2 fell forts and we're back down here. So we've had to push them back again today. It'll be interesting to see what happens later on. But I feel like because they had to go through the pass armies twice, because they lost so much siege, it wasn't necessarily siege troops. They're a little bit behind on where the barracks should be. Would kind of be my take on where that's at. So it's allowed HONK to come through from that sort of eastern direction across to the west, and I believe they're progressing quite nicely. And I think it's just the last time we fought DK, we were nowhere near as strong as probably what we are now. And I'm not sure if that factored the decision into going into the pass or not. I'd be interested to see what their side of it was, because they're a great sort of team, and it's one of the teams that I fear the most in this game because they just outmaneuver you all the time. And to be fair, they taught me a thing or two about tiling. So if I just come down to here, um, where am I? So this is basically just a blank tile. It got no siege on it, and this is one of the tricks that they do all the time. They just send one unit at a tile once the siege has been done. So you have to try and either guard it or move a main there, and then they can hit you with a decent main on top of it. But what it's allowed me to do from remembering how they play and sort of learning from them is that I've also got a small formation, which I know because I've got 4 commanders in it, allows me to counter this system from them. And I can just walk in and make sure that this formation or a different formation similar can take these tiles and make sure that they're basically sort of killing these small forces that they put out there. It's basically countering that tiling mechanic, and it's something that they do really well, and I'm really thankful that we did fight them first time around because it allowed me to learn this tile mechanic. So they just wait till the siege on a tile is 0, so say this is 0, and they will send literally 1 unit or whatever it might be like this, so that if this is a real army, which I doubt it will be because this guy's one of the best tilers that they have, he has to either guard or move, and it just wastes his main stamina, or they lose a tile. Same would happen here. So if they then send that 1 unit onto this tile, say if this was at 0, which it isn't, I then have a 4 formation which I can counter it with without having to use my main stamina. So just a small tiling trick, but to be fair, that is something that they taught me, and it's something that I've tried to teach our team to make sure that we can tile correctly. So I hope that kind of helps. I'll just let him run up there. It won't make too much of a difference. So we've kind of pushed back again today, which is pretty good for us for daytime activity. But with being Christmas Eve, I can't imagine too many people are working. So resource-wise, but like I say, we have farmed pretty well. So we have got a decent production per hour. As always with me, it's a stone production. But like I say, I have some trolls for a rainy day. I did have some rams, but they're kind of gone now. But half trolls are one of the things I've got a lot of. I've got some cooking. I'm kind of a bit low, but they're all in my forts as well. So I've got 3 full forts. I'm still using the 3 fort system that I employ to try and keep my sort of barrack supply at the front. So I'm still doing that system. That's why I haven't moved yet, because I've got 3 forts in the area that I can supply my army from. What I'm currently doing with Guardians is allowing me to keep this topped up. I've actually increased my barracks from my production, and the other thing that's pretty cool, which I've been doing a lot of since I've hit ring level 50, and I'll be doing a level 40 to 60 ring video in the next few days. I did the 0 to 20 and the 20 to 40 one the other day. So as I'm learning, I'm kind of going along. But this is really good. So for the 5 ability points, I'm getting 2 hours worth of land yield. So for those 2 hours, I think I pick up something, for those 5 points, sorry, I pick up, instead of being like 150k resources that I have to wait for, I'm picking up sort of 210k resources and not having to wait. So quite a useful tactic, I would say. And that's kind of everything that I'm at. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to build pretty much everything that I want to. If I can increase resources somehow, I'll keep chipping away at these and increase my storage. I think I've only got 1 more to do on here, and then I can unlock Alks, which I'm not too fussed about Alks, to be honest. I'm okay with breakers, really. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. As you can see, I'm in Christmas mode. I'll just kind of take you into the warband sort of style screen. So for an affluence point of view, Emmy's always close to me, to be fair. And on this week's merit, I'm just second, but there's quite a few people with over 200k in just over a day, so pretty good, really. We've got some good new recruits as well, so our power has definitely increased since a couple of seasons ago. The winter event's still ongoing. I'm still throwing, shooting arrows at a board for 100 gems a day. I haven't gone in on the helm chest. I will go in on the next gear chest. I think is probably my key, because I could do with. There's some specific gear pieces that I need now, so I'm focusing more on gear than respect levels. I could do with a few of these. But yeah, the accounts, I've been pretty happy with how I'm performing at the moment. So the changes that I made, I think, to Dane in particular, gaining this perseverance set, have been really good. On the subject of Helm, by the way, just I know I haven't done. To be fair, I haven't done a video on Helm, and I will once I've seen more from him. But I have seen some okay results. I mean, one, he looks pretty cool. I don't know why on earth, if he turns Zenith, he apparently turns Ginger. I don't really get that part, but there you go. But he looks pretty cool. The event they've done alongside it's also pretty good, I think. But I think some of his skills are quite good. Be interested to see how this works and the sort of physical damage you can do mixed in with this medium unit. So I do think he could actually have a use. I'm kind of going to save that for the video, but it's nice to see that we have new commanders coming out, to be honest. And I think there's another one just around the corner, which I sort of alluded to the other day, but I do think there is another one coming. See if I'm about to die up here. It's like I say, you see, if they want to kill me at this stage, they've got to use some main stamina, but it looks like I'm just going to get the tile, so... Unless this army guards, which it might do, but then I only lose 4 units, and I'm not that fussed about that. And that's kind of it, really. Like I say, it is Christmas Eve. I really appreciate the support I've had this year. Hopefully I'll get more of it next year. There will be a new top-up link for January that I'm just going to trial. It is Android only, but it will offer players a decent cashback percentage, which is quite interesting. I'm quite looking forward to that. And then hoping to carry on into the new year. So, as always with these things, if in doubt, always follow your nose.